What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about MicroStrategy today, MSTR. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, okay? So here we are, dumping, man. 11.4% to the downside today. A lot of volume down there. This seems like a capitulative move right there. We could go a little lower. The low is at 243. I think we could go down to about 230, even just below there. Something in line with this low, this high here, this kind of shelf right there. We don't have to go lower. That really could have been it. A few days ago, I think it was Sunday, right? We had the game plan for this week. We were fully prepared for prices that were between about 230 to 250. That was the expectation. It is Tuesday, right? The end of Tuesday here. So looking forward to tomorrow. This is about the point where I'd expect that we turn around. I don't think that turning around means we have to just blow up back to the upside right now. I mean, we definitely could, but I would assume that Bitcoin, let's look at it over here, BTC, USD, BTC, auction just keeps moving up, man. It's crazy. I would assume, yeah, Bitcoin looks like it wants to move up. Bitcoin found its low, you guys. I don't think if Bitcoin goes below 86K again, it's gonna find support at 85K, and if that happens, MicroStrategy goes a little bit lower. But at some point this week, if not literally starting tomorrow, you're gonna start to recover, or at the very least, kind of meander, right? Bitcoin does this thing sometimes where whenever it finds support, and I know I've got this indicator on here. I'll delete this so that it's not so distracting. Let's see. Whenever it finds support down here at this eruptive, actually, absolutely just demolishing low, moving down to the bottoms here, you find support, and then you move sideways for 2 days, and then you start to move up 2 days. And 2 days is not long at all, but it might seem like forever when you're in the midst of a drop, right? Same thing here after this immaculate drop, 2 days, and then you moved up. After this drop here, you moved sideways for about a week, and then you moved up. You know what I mean? Here, drop 1 day, and then you moved up. And then even then you consolidated more, and then you continued to move up. I'm just saying that Bitcoin not doing much tomorrow wouldn't be too out of the norm at all. Of course, there are moments where we find a low like we did yesterday, and we continue to move up immediately. We could do that. Let's see if that actually makes sense. I'm gonna do a video on Bitcoin here later. I don't think Bitcoin moves up today. I think that today Wednesday for Bitcoin. Tuesday night for MicroStrategy. I don't think that it moves up right now. So you probably move sideways. I would expect MicroStrategy gathers itself. It kind of moves sideways as well. It perhaps dips down to about 230. I don't think you go too much lower than that, right? Like 220 might be the lowest you go to, but 230, 220 at the lowest if you even get there. And likely tomorrow closes with a somewhat neutral close. I know the last 3 days in a row you've closed 7.4% to the downside, 5.6%, 11.4%, all greater moves than 5% to the downside. I don't think tomorrow will be that. I think tomorrow's going to be like, at the most, what you'll see is some kind of move that is greater than 5% to the downside, but you'll probably close very neutral, like 3% or less to the downside, or even up, even green. That's what I'm suspecting. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame and see if that makes sense. Yeah, look at that. Bullish divergence right there. You are rejecting the oversold zone, though. Bullish divergence and rejecting the oversold zone. Have you completed this divergence? Let's see. You have not. Okay, so you're getting set up. You're getting set up for more drives of divergence. So I believe you will go lower, but this is good, right? You're going to get set up for probably double, triple bullish divergence, whatever you want to call it, right? The only reason I'm saying double, triple is because you have two lows here technically. It is one low, but you've got a little pivot. It makes it two. This could be construed as double bullish divergence, or at the very least, the next low would be, but it's either double, triple, whatever. You're going to get another drive of bullish divergence if you get a 1 hour time period to close below 243.70 cents. And I think you will. And that's a very positive signal. But you're going to go a little bit lower. So what would make sense to go lower to? Again, if we take this low here to this high right here, low to high there, the next lower level, you're at the 1414 now, then you're finding resistance at the 1272. It's perfect. You're going right to 229. I don't think you break below 200, but I think 229 is right where you're going to go. And then from there, you probably start off the day there, and then you work the rest of the day up tomorrow. When you close above 300 again, that's when it's time to start celebrating that you found your low, okay? And that you might close above 300 tomorrow. You might not. I wouldn't expect it, right? I'm kind of expecting a rather no-nothing day tomorrow, but just a little bit downside to open up the day. Give yourself some of that triple bullish divergence, double bullish divergence on the 1 hour time frame, and then look to recover from there, right? I don't expect it to be an immaculate recovery. I expect it to be a little bit worked for at first, right? We're going to be methodical and meticulous on our way up, stair-stepping, and then once we get to this shelf that we were expecting for so long, right before we flopped to the downside here, 445, once we break that, that's when it's time to really get excited for new all-time highs. And we can get excited for them now. There's nothing wrong with that, right? when we see new all-time highs, and I have every reason to believe that we're not done here, we probably go lower, but if I pull this down lower, notice how that says 675 right now. If I pull it down a little bit, that number only goes up higher. So if we have a lower low than this, that's fine. That's totally fine. A lower low means higher targets, but from this low, 675 is the minimum target. The likely target that we're going to go to, at least I assume, would be about $1,100 to $1,200, if not higher. Why is that? I thought it was at $1,300. Why is that so low now? Am I in log? I am in log. Wasn't that $1,300? Am I just misremembering? I thought it was $1,300. Maybe I'm thinking of a different fib. Let's see. Because this is a smaller fib, so it would make sense to actually see deeper extensions. Even, and the 1886 is a deep extension. Don't get me wrong, it is. It's just it's at the shallower end of these deep extended zones. The 2272 is definitely a deep extension. I swear 1,300 was the target, but that fib makes me think, you know, 1,000 to 1,200 really could be the stopping point. If you go above 1,300, you're gonna probably not stop until 1,500. Okay, you really might stop at around 1,200. That's kind of odd. I feel like I'm remembering something wrong here, but whatever. That's okay. Not 1,300, just 1,200, 1,100, something like that. That's fine. Whatever. Same target area more or less. You went all the way up from your 1618, found resistance there to a T, and now you're finding support to a T at your 1272. You likely do go a little bit lower, but I love the respect of this zone, right? This is why this is called the primary target zone, because you generally do have these interactions, right? And again, I do expect you find support. You don't have to find support right on this line. You can go a little bit below it if you want to, but you find support down here, start to move up. By the definition of this fib itself, the only next fib target to consider would be $994. So when we are above this shelf at 440, the only next target to consider is something that's more than 2 times that value, right? And likely you go to about $1,200 to $1,300, if not at least 1,000, something above there. All of that is still true. It's happening. It's likely going to happen in April that you'll be at these targets. I don't think it'll be the end of April. I'm thinking the first 2 weeks of April. Of course, the majority of this move, the meat of this move, will be breaking out. We'll be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel by the end of March, I think. But then it'll come to full maturity sometime in April. That's what I'm thinking. And then here's the real cool part, you guys. I think for MicroStrategy and for Bitcoin, consolidation phases like this on a weekly basis where we consolidate from November to the end of February, right? Like literally the middle of November to the end of February, where we're consolidating for over 3 months. That's not going to happen anymore. Every consolidation phase from here on out until the end of the bull market, I suspect, will be smaller than this one. Things are about to get crazy. Crazy, wild, crazy, you guys. And I do anticipate that MicroStrategy tops off before Bitcoin by the end of this bull run. As it did last cycle, right? Last cycle it topped off in February of 2021. Bitcoin topped off in November. But if we look at MicroStrategy here, it just moved sideways that whole time too. It didn't sell off immediately. Its bear market started after Bitcoin's bear market started. So MicroStrategy will give you a shelf, a time, an opportunity to sell. I don't think it'll be exactly like this. You sold off here, you topped off in February. So from February to November, what is that? That's 9 months of a difference, right? I don't think that's going to happen now, right? And I think it's very clear because I am expecting new all-time highs. Bitcoin likely tops in October or later this year. That's my thoughts, okay? If we were to do a 9-month time frame from that, I mean, January would have had to been when you top off, but you topped off in November. So I don't think that's the high because it's way earlier than we were last cycle. And also, I don't think that we're gonna top off 9 months before this high. I would suspect something. I think we do top off before Bitcoin's high, and if I'm anticipating that Bitcoin tops in October, maybe November, that's what I'm thinking. But Q3 is what I'm thinking, or Q4. I'm sorry, Q4. Then I would anticipate MicroStrategy tops off in Q3. I think a lot of people are going to expect MicroStrategy to top off a lot earlier than Bitcoin did. They're going to call it an early topping signal. We'll probably see that. You'll probably see everybody talk about that right now, guys. I'm not a psychic, but this is one of my psychic reading moments. Okay, I'm telling you, when we're at this $1,000 price, everybody's going to refer to this last time. And they're going to say MicroStrategy topped off. It's the end of this. It's a cycle ending warning. It topped off before Bitcoin, but then it's going to run up and have one more run to something that's at least around like above $2,000, if not as high as $5,000. I don't think 5,000 is on the table though anymore, guys. Probably just $2,000. And the reason for that again is high to low here. $2,400 right there. $5,300 could be a target, but this is not the end of cycle target. This is just your next stopping point. I think you have one more stop after that, and that would likely be at about $2,400. And likely this target comes in Q3. This target likely comes in Q2. Okay, and then in between you're consolidating or moving up, right, getting to those targets. So there was a point that I was going to make, but I got distracted. Oh yeah, watch it happen. I'm calling for it right now. I'm C-Zar the psychic right now. Once we hit $1,000, once we're up at this area, everyone's going to say MicroStrategy topped off. That's the Bitcoin. That's an early warning sign that Bitcoin's going to top off. People are going to start saying that, and then whenever it moves up again, people aren't going to know what to think, because it's like, okay, now if it's topping off here, when's Bitcoin going to top off? They're going to think that MicroStrategy tops off so much earlier than Bitcoin. I don't think it's going to happen in this cycle. I think it will still top off earlier than Bitcoin, but maybe like 1 to 3 months, maybe even just weeks ahead. But it's going to be a lot closer than 9 months, and that's why I'm getting so fixated on this topic, because I want everybody who's investing in this, anybody who's investing in the crypto markets, to be prepared, right? I don't want you guys to miss out or sell early or misconstrue things just because of what we did last cycle. Last cycle was whack, you guys. It was weird. It's not a normal thing. And MicroStrategy was just, beginning to acquire Bitcoin in its reserves. This time it's different. And obviously it's different. It's more constructive. It's much more constructive, less sporadic. So we've got more to go. I've got nothing else to say. 250 now. Tomorrow we probably do move down to about 230, if not a little bit lower, 220. We could go lower than that even. If we go to 200, fine, whatever. And then likely from tomorrow, if not sometime this week, I would think we start to move up. And then going into the end of March. Going into March, we'll be moving up, but the end of March, we'll be at new all-time highs. Going into April, we'll be reaching for $1,000, and that's all I got for you. So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Exciting times, even at the lows, it's exciting times. It's certainly better than just moving sideways. At least I think so. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you on the next one.